Hello and welcome to another Cube Draft holiday season. We opened up a treachery. There's like nothing broken in here except that. Obviously Prophetic Bolt is something I would want. Crucible Strip Mine is something I want. Signet is something I wouldn't mind. Neither is a Mind Stone. But Treachery is obviously the more powerful pick there. We can follow it up with a Senses Divining Top and go some form of control again. If you pick up a Trinket Mage later, or a Tinker goes well with it. I think to keep our options open, it is one of the better cards here. Ludicrous is obviously fine, but I think Sensei is just the safer pick. Out of these, I like Wormcoil, Riftwing. Obviously, don't mind these. Toxic Deluge is actually pretty interesting. Haven't played with it a lot, not in Constructed nor in any other format. It seems fine on paper, but it's gonna cost you a bunch of life. And in cube, it's usually to kill a single creature or something. Wormcoil, just the more resilient and more powerful card. It's also an artifact, so still keeping open options. And then we get this. I think Glenalendra is a better card, saying that we already have blue. To stop people from doing broken things, it blocks twice. It's just an all-around good card. Other interesting cards is Burning, which is basically a Wildfire Arbor Elf, which some people pick up. Curse Scroll, obviously really good. Thornscape Mage if you're looking for those colors, and Catastrophe. Like most cards in Cube are obviously strong on their own. Interesting pack. Trend Dynamo is fine if I want to do broken stuff and get into the late game. Yeah, I guess I'll do it, and then if I see some kind of Eldrazi, I'll pick it up and just go for some kind of ramp. Upheaval is something I definitely want. I got Upheaval with cards like this is just sick. But I can cast turn 4 Wormcoil with Trend Dynamo. Turn 2 Signet, turn 3 Trend Dynamo, turn 4 Wormcoil. Yeah, living the dream. But at this point we're artifact based with blue, so I wouldn't mind Welder either. Although every time I drafted a Welder, it hasn't worked out for me. Like the drafts went fine, the games went fine, but Welder just didn't do anything in none of them. It either got killed or whatever. Scroll Rack seems like a good card, although we have no shuffle effect. Volcanic Island is great for a splash. Signet actually is accelerant and opens up 2 colors. I think Signet is a better pick here, just to have that kind of acceleration. For the Bit is obviously another good card though. Let's pick up a Forbid. I think the effect is more unique than anything else in that pack. And again, out of these is Chronicler all the way. Hero of Bladehold is actually a good standalone card. Force Spike, maybe. Mystic Snake is fine as well, and I don't think I would mind going green here. Because green opens up options with the creatures I have. It's just not a strong color here though. Hero needs some really aggressive things. Yeah, let's pick up the Mystic Snake and see where that brings us, and then we wheel the Prophetic Bolt. It's gonna be an instant pickup. I mean, the card is just really good. People undervalue a card like that, I think. All of these probably Call of the Herd, just because it creates 2 tokens, but Rifting Cloud Scaled Wield, thank you. We just went into red, but none of these appeal. I think Thornscape Mage is the better card out of them, but they're all trash. Day of Judgment, yeah, sure, I'll pick it up. Maybe we still play green and splash red for this and this. I mean, it's fine then. We do need some earlier drops though. Like this is a 2-drop, this is a late game drop if I ever play it. But at this point my curve is a bit too high with no accelerants. Yeah, it looks like blue, green with a splash for red. Just because of Prophetic Bolt and Thornscape. If I have some lands that have white, I'll probably have the other effect as well, but for now, it doesn't matter. We already passed top of Volcanic Islands, so that's not gonna happen. Firestorm is the better card of those two. Obviously, not gonna be played because it's some form of card disadvantage. Is it actually? Yeah, it always is. Unless you can bring stuff back from your graveyard, it's always card disadvantage. My last card apparently was Nantuko Vigilante, I didn't even pay attention to it. But I mean, I don't mind, it's a good card. Garruk Color Beast. Yeah, that's actually pretty bad in a deck like mine. Shackles is probably the stronger card here. Even though I already like a Remand, I think Shackles is just so good. It wins games on its own against a lot of decks. Out of this pack, I wouldn't mind seeing the Remand deck, the Slime, Primal Commands, Garruk OK, Bloodsign Mire, obviously. But that's about it. It's a pretty weak pack in my opinion, or at least for me. Out of these, pretty good cards. The Elspeth is pretty good. Vendilion Clique is pretty good. Thundering Titan is brutal if I can pick up a Tinker. Memory Lapse is fine, as is the Polluted Delta. But I think I want something like a Click. Do I? Let's pick up a Thundering Titan. I know it's not the best pick. Like there's probably better picks like the Fetchland or Vendilion Clique, but Thundering Titan just has a higher payoff if I can find a Tinker, or if I can accelerate into it. I think if I wanna play something like Thundering Titan, I have to be careful about my splashes. That I can't actually afford to be splashing so greedily as usual. But it's fine, it doesn't really matter at this point. Day of Judgment obviously isn't gonna be played. And we get a Ral Zarek passed. Yeah. I mean, I like this card, I also like this card. And I think I have to pick up the Ral Zarek. It's just so good. It's removal. It's wins games on its own eventually. Here we have a counterspell of Frost Titan. Counterspell is probably the stronger card. Frost Titan is good as well, but I think we just want to get to the late game. If I cut green, I lose 4 cards, but I have a small splash and pretty strong red. Especially if you get a Steam Augury. This is basically Factor Fiction, right? Yeah. It's just in other colors. Serendip Efreet is also really good. I think I'll pick up the Efreet and hope this wheels. Although, card is really good though. But it forces me heavily into the red. I'll pick up the Efreet and see what wheels. Let's hope the Augury wheels. I mean, it's a really good card. It's Factor Fiction 2.0. But it's more likely to wheel than the Serendip Efreet, just because it's 2 colors and Prophetic Bolt already wheeled. I don't think people value Steam Augury that high. As they can, Factor Fiction is easily splashable, or if you're already blue, it's easy to pick it up. But if you're not one of these colors already with blue or red, you're probably not gonna splash for a Steam Augury. Or for some odd reason, people just don't think it's as good as Factor Fiction, even though it does exactly the same. Ulamog, as I said, I'll probably pick it up. Although I only got 1 Accelerant, so Ancestral Visions is probably better here. Drawing into crap still is crap though. But Ancestral Visions, the effect is just too good to pass up. It's a Ancestral Recall with Suspend instead. Snapcaster Mage is pretty sick. Wouldn't have minded Trinket Mage since it's Divine Top, but I already have a Forbid, a Counterspell, a Prophetic Bolt, I hope Steam Augury wheels. So Snapcaster Mage is just too good to pass up here. And if I get some kind of removal in red, then Snapcaster just becomes more valuable. I'm not that pleased with the deck at this point though. I hoped it would have been a bit better. I think I'll pick up the Char here. Like, Charlotte's Agent is a fine card, but then it still forces me into green, and I think Resurrect and Prophetic Bowl are stronger than a green, and if I can pick up the Char as removal, it's just that much better. So it's looking like this. Still need 6 cards then. Obviously want some early game, maybe some Signets. What else? Some red removal, I wouldn't mind. Out of these, I'll probably hate the Garruk. It's not that good though. But I'm gonna have a hard time dealing with Planeswalkers. Hellrider is in the colors. Rika is just not that great with me, for me. You know what? I'm gonna pick up the Eureka, and I'll tell you why later on. Vendelion Clickfield, thank you. So let's say let's show all, right? Let's say I do go green, and the card you recently saw. I'll pick up a smokestack here. The card you recently saw, the god damn it, the Eldrazi. If that comes true, and I can Eureka that into play, and then just treachery whatever my opponent puts into play later on, it's gonna win me the game pretty easily. So Breeding Pool, Wield, not so sure about the splash though. I think I pick it up over a Signet though. Lightning Helix, yeah, okay, whatever. They're all trash anyway. Fireman Angel, Dust Bowl. More likely to play Dust Bowl, even though I'll probably won't play it. So it didn't wheel. Might still splash green for one of these cards. It depends on the fix, but it's probably not gonna be Eureka. Time Twister, not that great in my deck. Bribery is a pretty good card against most decks. This would allow me to fix, but don't really care. I'm gonna go for a Bribery just because it's a really strong card. So let's hide green again. Sour of Temptation is another really good one, as is Mirror Battlesphere. I think Sour is just better. The problem is that we're only winning against creatures then. I think Incinerate might just be the pick. What's my late game? I have 2 late game cards and basically 2 other good anti-cards. Sour or Incinerate? I think I need an Incinerate. No, it's an odd pick. Okay. Easy pick up here. Wouldn't mind the Firebolt wheeling, but I can't pass up a Karn. Karn is just too good. It wins games on its own, as does Library of Alexandria. Considered to be the 10th card in Power 10. Normally you have Power 9, which is Lotus, 5 Moxes, and so on. Ancestral, Time Twister, Time Walk, if you really want to know. But if you say like, yeah, 9 is not really a good number, it's the 10th one is Library of Alexandria. You can see the effect there. It draws you cards for land, and if it wouldn't tap for mana, it would be pretty bad. But it obviously does. It taps for mana in case you don't like Maze of It. Maze of It is also a really strong effect, right? It really is, but you can't tap it for mana without having another land giving it that ability or anything else giving it that ability. Library of Alexandria though, it taps for mana. Like turn 1 top, on the draw or something, and then turn 2 just tap Library of Alexandria. Come on, dude. Who comes up with that shit? And why was it third pick? Hmm. None of these cards really appeal to me. I think Solemn is the better card, just because it draws me a card, it accelerates. Bonfire is fine, but it's too narrow and it's just another late game card, and I think late game should be good enough. Gonna have a rough time this time against some green mana ramps, I think. I do have Treachery, Bribery to steal things, maybe the Sour Wheels, we'll see. I do have Counterspell for bit. Maybe I won't have a hard time. Shackles is also really good against them. I think the very first one I did in the holiday season was also blue-red, and I went 2-1 there, losing the finals. Pretty close. Just uploaded that today, by the way, in case you're interested in seeing that. Muldrifter is the pickup here. It's a really good card. Out of these, Into the Roll is probably the pick. Like, Cut is really good, but Into the Roll is something I wouldn't mind seeing. It's a form of tempo play, but now I have a card too much. It's probably Trend Dynamo that has to go here. We'll see during deconstruction. Dungeon guys, really. Okay then. So I have 6 flyers already. And pretty good ones. Fire Blast not gonna be played. None of these are. Just gonna pick up the land. In case I decide to play the green as well, I already have 2 fixed now. 3 if you consider Solemn. But the deck is looking good enough on 2 colors on its own. Might not play the Sundering Titan, we'll see. I have 2 cards, too many now. It's actually a pretty good card. I think I have to get rid of Shigma. Palingran is a cool card, but Firebolt Wield, wanted to pick that up. Anyway, Indrik is pretty good against some decks. And I can side without red and go into green against those. Yeah, I didn't get any Tinker. Might still play Sundering Titan to punish those greedy mana bases. Haven't seen a lot of them though, but if you watch at some of the high-end players, like Channel Fireball players, I call them high-end. They're obviously pros, but not pros in cube drafting. They tend to go like 4 colors, just good cards point on deck, and try to win like that by playing Haymaker after Haymaker. It tends to work out, but if you can punish them on their mana base, they're just so royally screwed. But that's what makes cube so fun, right? You can do whatever you want most of the time, and it forms pretty interesting and fun decks. Like here I have Trend Dynamo. What's if I shut down Trend Dynamo? I still have 2 cards too many. This is a 2, this is a 3, this is like a 7. Scholar not gonna be played. Firestorm obviously not in there. That was a mistake. Top is Poker Side might be. Solemn is Worm Coalesce. Just add all of them. Almost forgot the Karn there. A Prophetic Bolt. Wait, what happened to the Resurrect? Where is it? What the hell? Okay then. Imagine if you can't find that. So these aren't gonna be played. Neither are these. Neither is this. This obviously is. None of these are might play the Dust Bowl, but probably not. Might play the Bonfire. And we'll keep green at the side somewhere. Just to consider it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Okay, so we have too many cards. Let's put the creatures at the side. 'Cause that's how you do things. Muldrifter 3, Rifting a 3, this is 7, something like that. So 4 cards too much. We obviously want to be the late game deck. I don't think a poker side fits in this. Trend Dynamo is a fine card, but it's gonna be too slow. I don't wanna use turn 4. I'm gonna be... The reason I'm not playing this is I'm gonna be behind in the early game. Like, that's what this deck does. You fall behind. It's normal. And if you then tap out turn 4 to just play Trend Dynamo, I don't think you're gonna win that. Though it does accelerate me into these. I don't think I want a Sundering Titan main deck. Maybe I do. The question is, what do I want out here? Seriously, such a good looking deck. 3 cards that have to go. They're all so good. Come on. Maybe the click because I have nothing to go with it. It's one of my creatures though. So yeah, if I cut anything, it's gotta be in the spells. I have 5 spot removal, 6 if you consider treachery to be spot removal. Into the roll, bounces and draws me a card, so it saves me time. Need haymakers to win the end game. Sundering Titan just ain't it. I really do not like Trend Dynamo here. Okay, let's try it like this. So we'll obviously add a library, add land. So it suggests it only wants to add 4 mountains. Let's make it 5. I think we do want to see at least 1 mountain. Well, more than 1 mountain. Like, we want to see a mountain in the early game. There's not a lot of double blue in the early game except for bit. And yeah, okay, counterspell. 4 mountains seems low though. But a single one is good enough. Nah, I at least want to see a single mountain every single time. Okay, we'll run with this and I'll see you guys for the round 1. Yeah.